far since I've been here. I talk to everybody all the time.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it really is. It was unusual, and that was the best part of doing the show for me. It's a really lucky thing when you get a cast of people who all really get along well and remain friends forever, and that happened. And
I would say it shows very much, especially the longer the show ran.
Yeah.
The more cohesive everybody was in the cast.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, even if the plot was like, meh, y'all made it work really well.
Well, we really enjoyed working together, and it was fun to go to work and not know which combination was going to work together that day. Am I going to be just with Patrick? Am I going to have Patrick and Gates? Is it going to be Jonathan and LeVar and me? And, it was always a fun proposition, no matter who it was.
Was it hard when the show ended? I mean, it still sort of goes on in some of the movies and
Yeah.
stuff, but that seems to be petering out.
Right.
Was it hard when it ended?
It wasn't hard for me. It was for others. I was not unhappy when the show ended because, we had done 178 episodes. I don't think anybody got cheated. But for me, I was spending, I was doing 16 hours every day for 7 years. We'd work into Saturday morning to 3 or 4 or 5 Saturday morning, and I had to be back at work at 5:45 on Monday so I could get painted. And I spent, I try to explain to people who say, well, how can you not love your character like I love your character? Well, I did love the character, but love is a complex thing. And your relationship to the character was way different than mine. You sat in front of your TV for an hour and watched the show. And I sat in makeup an hour and 15 minutes to get it on every day, and an hour and a half to get it off every day, and then go home and learn my lines, which were not easy, and then come back and get painted again the next morning. So there were things I didn't love about it, but I did, the experience altogether was wonderful, but I wasn't sorry to see it end.
Would you do it all over again?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't do it again, but I would do it all over again. Yes, ma'am, back there.
Has a fan ever completely lost composure with cues, with their pants around?
Who?
A fan.
A fan. Oh, what? Well, no names, but I've had some strange experiences. Yeah.
Elaborate.
Well, I really can't because I can appreciate. I'm a fan too. And there are people who, when I see them, I'm tongue-tied and I'm excited, and I get it. It's not like I'm not like you. I'm exactly like that. I mean, I don't make a complete idiot of myself, but I do, appreciate fandom because I'm a part of it. I think we all are. Yes, sir.
You admonish others to not consider acting as opposed to tease you, but I think part of that has to do with your mentor who made so much of an impact in your life, falling back to Houston.
Right.
What are the standards, or what are the things that your mentor tried to instill upon you as far as your character, being on time, knowing your words, all those things? What are the things you put into making you who you are as far as a financial player?
Those very things you just mentioned. My teacher, if we were late to a rehearsal in high school, it was hell to pay, and he was angry. And if we didn't know our stuff, if we hadn't spent any time working on it, he was very unhappy, and we were terrified of it. We really were, and I think that put us all in really good stead, because my feeling is that the least you can do is be on time and know your lines, and very often that's the most you can do. So you better at least be able to do that, because that's your professional responsibility. You never know whether you're going to land the part correctly or not. You know, acting is really ephemeral, and you may hit it and you may not, but you know for a fact you could be prepared, and that's what he really laid the groundwork for. And I really hate working with actors who show up late and don't know their lines. I think it's unbelievably irresponsible for people who are lucky to be, you know, working at all.
And it does happen.
Oh, it does. It does. You know, Sam here, who works on, what's the show he's on?
Being Human.
Being Human? He's always late. I don't even know. He's nice.
What about with some of the more complicated jargon words, like Data and the character Data and LeVar Burton, who had story, had to speak like constantly?
Yeah.
Like, was that learned like overnight, or did you guys work with like the scientists to properly enunciate half those words?
You know what? That stuff we said, it didn't mean anything. Really. We could have been, it was like learning the phone book. It really was. It didn't mean a thing. And we called it technobabble, because that's what it was. And no, we had to learn it the night before and deliver it the next morning. And I can remember working with Diana Muldaur, who was Dr. Pulaski for a season. And I used to have these long speeches of technobabble that my mind was frying as I was saying. And she had an interjection in the middle of the monologue of, go on. And she would go up, she would forget that. And I'd have to go back to the beginning again. So she was soon gone. Had nothing to do with me, really.
My favorite of the series of shows are most of them are on the holodeck when you were doing something else.
Yeah.
And I just seem to sense that you all were having more fun on those. I mean,
We did, yeah. Can you hear that in the back? You can hear all the way in the back. Can you hear me now? Richard, can you hear me? No, you can't. Yes, the holodeck. She was asking about the holodeck scenes, and that we seem to enjoy doing those in particular, and we did. You're absolutely right. Those were. We couldn't wait till they did a holodeck show so that we could play something else. And it gave me an opportunity as Data. I remember there was a guy who directed maybe the second or third episode we did of the whole series. And he said, in about 7 years, you're going to want to blow your brains out if this keeps going, because this is going to be the most limited role anyone has ever had to play. And I thought, really? I don't think it's going to go that way.